Now, Democratic Alliance interim leader John Steenhuisen says race-based politics have failed and added that the party will try to lift people out of poverty and provide more opportunities. He joins us now in studio to expand a little bit on that. John, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today.
Congratulations. You've got a daunting task ahead of you and a number of burning issues to address. I mean, your election as DA interim leader is raising questions about black leadership, race and redress. I mean, you spoke a bit there about race and, you spoke about how you're going to expand on this and ensure that there are opportunities to advance the country. Are you up for the challenge?
Of course I am. I'm under no illusions that it's going to be a tough task, but I'm willing to put every bit of energy and devotion and vigour that I have to growing the party and to setting out our stall as the alternative in the country very, very clearly and unambiguously to as many South Africans as possible, and obviously growing us as the core of the non-racial alternative to the ANC in South Africa.
You keep saying that race matters and race is an important part of being South African. Expand a little bit on that.
Well, I think race matters because we still have a huge majority of South Africans who are locked out of opportunity 25 years after apartheid has ended, who are yet to taste freedom. And it's very, very clear that the majority of those, 99.9%, according to Stats SA, happen to be black South Africans. So there is a correlation between race and disadvantage in South Africa. But the point that we've been making very clearly is that race-based policies of the last 25 years have failed to lift those people out of poverty and into opportunity. Black households are 10% poorer than they were at the beginning of BEE. Unemployment queues have grown massively from 3.7 million in 94 to over 10 million as we sit here today. Education systems are failing children. We're not lifting enough people out of poverty, and those race-based policies have made a very narrow band of individuals exceptionally wealthy, but have left the majority of South Africans, 99.9% of whom are black, locked out of opportunity and stuck in poverty.
Race-based policy, does this mean that you're going to be looking at doing away with things like BEE? What are you saying?
I think it is important that we understand that we have to have redress policies in South Africa. You can't turn a blind eye to over 300 years of dispossession, both legislatively and physically. And so we've got to have redress policies that make good the wrongs of the past. But I think that what we need to do is to focus those redress policies where they are needed most. Actually focusing them on poverty. What BE has done, the ANC's version of redress, is capture in the net a wide variety of individuals like the Guptas who didn't need to be empowered, who keep empowering the same group of individuals who keep getting richer and richer while people remain locked out of opportunity and are not advancing on a broad-based way anybody else economically. We've got to come up with something new. 25 years is a long enough time to realize that these policies aren't working. We need something new in South Africa, and we believe that by targeting the redress at those poor South Africans who are locked out of opportunity, you're able to do it far more efficiently, effectively, reduce corruption, and being able to ensure that we're actually making sure the people who need it the most are receiving that opportunity.
Right now, as things stand, John, the impression, or perhaps the notion, is that the DA is a white-based party. You've spoken quite a bit about the black vote and how you will broaden it. But how are you planning on building your black base? As things stand, the leadership is white.
Well, I think that if one looks at the collective leadership of the party, we're the most diverse leadership in the country. 8 of our 9 provincial leaders are black. The majority of our federal executive members are black South Africans. Our federal council, in fact, all structures of the party, we are the most diverse party in Parliament. If one looks at parties to both the left and right of us, they're virtually monochromatic. So that diversity is important. But I think what the DA's got to do is to root itself organically in communities. You can't exist as a political party floating above people. You've got to be organically rooted through branches and structures on the ground in communities. And then you've got to be driving issues that matter most to the people on the ground. And what you have to do is set out very clearly how you're going to use your party and your policies to change their lives. I think people are getting tired of parties going on how bad things are. They want a party to come there and offer them a solution about how you're going to get from a position where you're living in a shack with no opportunity, with your children at a school receiving a substandard education, having to go to a clinic that doesn't function properly. People want to know how you're going to change those things. And I think that's where the DA is going to have to play. And I think if we are able to be organically rooted in communities, driving the issues that matter most, showing people how we're going to get them jobs, houses and opportunity, I think we're going to be able to win over the hearts and minds of far more South Africans. We've always done better in all communities when we've made those pitches. And I think we've got to go back to those basics: activism, branches and campaigning. And I think if the party does that, we're going to be able to grow our support in all communities across South Africa.
Makashule Ghana went head-to-head with you for this position. What happens to him now?
Well, we're a democratic party, and so contestation in the DA is never a zero-sum game. Makashule is a good Democrat, he's a great South African, and he's got a massive role to play in the party going forward. And that's a great thing about DA elections. There's no brown envelopes, there's no people having chairs thrown at them. We do things in an orderly way, and when we have a democratic outcome, we respect that as Democrats. So Makashule is going to be a part of our leadership team going forward. He heads up the MPL network, and he's going to play a big role in the policy conference coming up, where we're going to be thrashing out these new ideas to take South Africa forward. What the DA needs now more than anything is to come together, to stop the public squabbling, and to start putting our heads together about how we can get the party back on track and how we can make a compelling offer of hope and change for South Africa. That's the type of party I want to lead, and that's certainly going to be my priority going forward.